Yeah. No, I don't know.
Okay. Do we have any reviews?
Nope. Hello. Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing some hardcore playing around with the roles process, our new tools. Yeah. You're packing?
Yeah. It's set in my room modulus. Notice the lack of turtles on my right room.
The lack of turtles? Let's see.
Turtles. Lizard. Yeah, no, there's a lack of them, so you wouldn't be able to see them.
Do you have a bunch of reptiles?
No. To my right, that's right. One of the witnesses on the with my Omen Warden knick-knack.
But no living turtles, huh?
One and a half.
Too bad. Griff and I, like, there's these turtles that live on the bottom floor below Jordy's apartment in Switzerland, and they have a whole turtle yard, right? Like, I don't think the people who live in that house really go outside that much. Even like the yard is just all for the turtles. It's a little turtle paradise. There's 2 turtles that live in it, and you can watch their lives go on from Jordy's balcony. It's pretty fun. And oh my god, we went to some crazy turtle fights.
Yeah.
Like, I think it started with sex or rape, I don't know. And ended in turtle sparring and then some like passive aggressive moves.
I thought they were all relatively slow and peaceful.
That's what I thought.
with 19 of the kids piled on each other inside rocks. And they just kept gliding on each other to the starting spot.
Yeah, it turns out they can be like highly entertaining. Better than TV.
I learned that like reading rituals, the turtles will suck from each other in the face. On the other side, I was, yeah. I was like, why are they like slapping each other from the face? And apparently that means, hey, I want to have sex with you.
Wake up!
Man, I should have fucking my lamb. Sorry, a man is cooking to dusty.
Oh man, that's so funny.
If that's how it only works in the real world.
Well, as I'm seeing this is going to be a fireside chat, and I actually have some work that would be distracting me so heavily. I'm going to step out of this meeting, so Griff, hopefully you'll join on the computer. But I'll see you guys in 53 minutes for our little roles show and tell.
Well, maybe before you leave, would you like to just say what you did this week, and then
Sure.
Go?
Oh
wait, are we live streaming? We're not live streaming.
No, we're not yet. Hey, don't live stream from my computer.
Sorry.
I'm leaving.
Does anyone want to start the live stream?
Yeah.
Okay, so this week I worked a lot on prep for the retreat in Barcelona. Making sure food is going to happen, making sure people like can fly there, planning some of the curriculum, and doing like house prep stuff, herding. A lot of cats and having some great meetings with Danny on that. I also put a lot of work into the roles process and like some like informal roles conversations as well. Like
Mm. Yeah. So a good part of my week was getting started on that course that Lorelai mentioned. I'm so excited that just talking about it with her got her excited to come join the class too. It's so super relevant. Just doing the first coursework of deciding what problem we want to focus on developing a full systems practice around coming up with solutions was really exciting because we're focusing on the commons. And then, so that helps me by seeing the different links that you guys are sharing through the common stack. So looking at that is really helping inform the work that I do in the class. It's really fun to see how it weaves together. The focus area that we've selected is travel and tourism and the impacts that that has both on the environment and on the social fabric and on Indigenous culture and whatnot. Especially as Giveth and blockchain work in general is so global and involves people traveling for conferences as well as other things I care about. This is just an incredible intersection, and I'm loving that Lansky's involved in that. It leads to a lot of economic thought and conversation too. So the other thing I've been working on is the retreat. Oh my gosh, I was so excited, Griff, when you brought up the radical exchange thing. I had been looking at that and hesitant to dive into creating any kind of local entity, but I've been following along. So I made a little document we can use to set up a meetup for that. Gathered some reference links for people who are interested in what that's about. And what a great way to wrap up our week of Giveth is to invite friends, old and new, to come together and talk about Ethereum and radical ideas for social change. So I'm excited about that, and also just dialing in the logistical stuff. I added a lot logistics tab to the retreat spreadsheet that Chris made. So the first tab is program concepts and planning, getting what we want to talk about. Then we'll take that into how much time we actually have to talk about those things. And then the logistics of when are you coming in, so please go fill that out. The other thing this week was DAP, of course, talking about design, working with Marco on how he can get a handle on what that's going to look like. So we identified some people to interview, putting together interview questions. We're interviewing Chris from a deep long-term user perspective. We're going to interview Magenta as somebody who's doing a lot of related work and moving towards blockchain-based entity and that kind of thing, and who's already on the DApp. And then I have a friend who's looking to donate and wants to get involved in crypto and is new. So we're going to hold off on me walking him through that process so that Marco and I can do a little pre-assessment interview of him and set a baseline before walking him through the process. What else is there? Decentral, following all the stuff Griff is sending out, and I've also been doing some research, poking around, looking for materials, and I have some people in San Francisco that would love to go work on the car a little bit, including Eli. I don't know if you guys remember Eli, but he's from Seattle, has been living in San Diego, and is moving to San Francisco and wants to get involved with people and projects there. So just talking to people a lot too about all of these different things that are going on and looking to make some matches with what needs to be done and get involved in the community. And some more to trying to figure out how to get our videos to upload to the Wall of Fame and into our milestones better, because that seems to be a friction point in the reward DAO process right now. Yeah, that's me. My intentions are to talk about all these things that everybody wants to talk about and also be ready to go into the roles meeting, and I'm not distracted at all. I'll pass it to Jeff.
Stack. We've been kind of working parts of with some of these guys, conversations about the legal side and our funding narrative with Griff and Bernd. I've been focusing a lot on this overview presentation and matching it with our overview doc and our funding pitch, trying to get that as concise and understandable as possible. Been working on a couple articles, have a draft coming out on Saturday that I hope to have overviewed and edited over the weekend and publish early next week. And I've been doing a big document organization of the Common Stack and creating a single source of truth spreadsheet that it was so useful during the hackathon to organize all the docs. And I figured since docs were just being created left, right, and center, it would be handy to have one for that as well. So I will share that in the Common Stack group in a little bit. Yeah, I think that was most of it. Who has not gone yet? I don't see many faces here. Michael?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So intentions, kind of happy to be here to catch up with everybody. Distractions, lots of distractions right now, and also feeling a little bit guilty right now. And anyway, looking forward to the rest of the meeting. And I'll pass it to Kai, I guess, if I'm the last one.
You feel guilty. Jesus, guys, I'm deep down into the depths of Docker. It's not great, and it's hell, same. But it's so awesome, but it's really can be frustrating and great. Still some stuff to finish the week off with the business cards. So if you need business cards, put your name on the list. What else did I do? Yeah, so the Docker thing is about saving our stuff to our own blog. We deploy ourselves currently for free on AWS, Ghost. And so what did I do else? I did some maintenance on the Jupyter Hub for blog science and some administration on YouTube. And I kind of finished this blog post about social sensor fusion and have to edit the last kinks of the Griff's comments. And yeah, I don't want to go too long. I think that's it. And I'm the last one, no?
Yeah, I think that's everyone. So, hey, there's no Lumios. It's pretty easy, right? There was like maybe a thread on something, but I think it's just time for a good old fireside chat. So, does anyone have any agenda topics they want to talk about?
Instead of declaring what we did last week at the start of the governance meeting, maybe we could declare what's of relevance to others only, to save us some time and chattering. Just a thought.
I'll make that a topic. No other topics?
I feel like we talked about the retreat pretty thoroughly in the communication call yesterday, right?
Yeah, I guess I did feel like a gov fireside chat almost in the comms call.
I would actually add Barcelona as a separate topic and some things that we can mention there.
Okay. Maybe we can talk RadX a little bit. Radical markets.
Hmm?
I mean, I can always talk common stack if you guys are gonna make all this space. Okay. Well, if there's no other topics, okay, go for it. Let's hear the thought. Josh, what's the?
Well, that was pretty much the thought. It's just trying to streamline our practices, because I find that we tend to talk a lot about ourselves rather than what we have in relation to each other. So I'd prefer to take the frame of other orientation and try to frame things in ways that are useful or assumingly useful to others, and ditching the little bits and bobs. I ran around and created notes for the governance meeting. I don't need to tell you that. I'm in a governance meeting with you. So just no point in me telling you about that. So I'd rather say, hey, I am learning this software because it's of use potentially in these domains. That kind of a frame on how we start the meeting, potentially.
Yeah. Feedback point from me. The reason we started doing this, Josh, is especially because when it was linked to us being accountable. And so the idea was like, okay, you can link to this in your milestone to say, this is what I did for Giveth this week. And I think personally, I like it a lot that people, of course, context is important, and if you don't want to talk about the detail, you don't have to. But I think it's useful because there's always like these little things, for example, that Griff mentions or that Danny mentions. I'm like, oh yeah, that reminds me of, or oh, you're on this and I want to know more. And then like discussions or DMs follow after that because we're like in different places and we don't know. And sometimes these little details do matter. I personally like them. That's my feedback on it.
Yeah,
Go ahead. No,
well, yeah, I feel like it's one of these things where you get to feel validated for doing these things, right? And so it's not just about the group, right? It's about accountability for sure, and also validation of like, hey guys, you may not have heard from me for a while because none of the work that I'm doing pertains exactly to you, but I am working, I promise. Like this is what I'm doing. This is why you may not have heard from me because it doesn't pertain from you, but and maybe there's opportunity for other people to join if it's like really exciting. So validation, accountability, and of course I think the part that you're saying we should focus in on is the opportunity for collaboration. But I'm open. I mean, I think I don't know if if you want to push it as a Lumio, we could do that route, or if there's just a huge consensus in this call. I mean, obviously, it's everything's up for a change.
Well, I think it's more a pattern kind of thing that we could apply ourselves and should be mindful of practicing.
I feel like this was something that we actually talked about implementing not that terribly long ago. Like it was actually discussed that this is the place that we want to share with everyone what we're interested in and acting on, not only for those in the call to seek points that may be of relevance, but also for those who are listening in to this as here's all of the things that are going on in the community right now, and knowing who to connect with should any of those be of interest and something they want to get involved in.
Anyone else? Thoughts, suggestions, feedback?
Okay, cool.
Adjourn.
Adjourned. Okay, so I would say if you want to push this, go for the Lumio. But next one is Barcelona. Danny, you had
Yeah, so there's a new Riot Room that those of us who have signed up have all been added to that Riot Room, the Barcelona number 4, I think is what it's called. So there's the document that Chris started in the communications call yesterday, the first tab being the different things that we want to talk about. And then I just added a second tab for logistics, asking what day are you arriving? Do you know when you're leaving? Do you have any food things we need to take into consideration for budgeting and meal planning? And any other special accommodations or considerations you want to share with us as we plan. So fill that out.
Yeah, and my proposal was like, let's do that right now if we have time left. In the call. Like if you have ideas for like meetings, if you know when you're arriving, even if it's like if the ticket is not booked yet, like when you think that you will be arriving, because for example, I'm booking my ticket today and it helps me to know when you guys will be there.
okay. Well, is there a link? I guess it's in the Barcelona.
Yeah, I was looking for it myself, but then I wanted to talk, of course.
I know.
Okay.
Let's see who wins.
I know.
Yes.
Oh,
You win?
this one. Ooh, lots of good stuff. Okay, so there's a tab that says logistics. Let's I like this collaborative speed filling. Flexitarian.
Danny, do you, because we talked about that yesterday as well, is it maybe an idea to also add a tab immediately and say like for just like for the main 5 days that we can have, I don't know, 2 volunteers per lunch period?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I started to put it as a column and changed my mind on it. Do that right now.
Oh. So you also had a document, Danny, right, with this like what you had in mind for planning for like what we're gonna like. So the first 5 days for it's like until the 31st. It's like people arriving, settling in. So that's until Sunday, and then from Monday to Friday we do Giveth time, and then on Saturday Radical Exchange, right?
That's correct. Wait, I think Radical Exchange is Friday night, isn't it? The 7th?
I think Griff proposed Saturday unless I change.
I said 7th, but I didn't even look at anything. I literally just was thinking the day after everything else is done.
Oh no, that's indeed. Well, the thing is, of course, do you want to do like just because that's just an evening? If you do it on the 8th, then you have like an entire day, and then people have like weekend and are not just coming from their work, and they maybe have more time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like meetups on Friday or Saturday are fine.
Okay.
It's really what's more convenient for us. Although Arno said that we shouldn't do it at our house and that he doesn't think the neighbors will like it. I really think the truth is
really?
he doesn't like it. Yeah. Which is
Sorry,
really
what?
too bad because that garage door is huge.
What is the truth, you think?
What? He doesn't like the idea. So the
my
idea
question was
to,
what are we?
sorry, there's like a 5-second delay that I have. I'm really sorry.
You're good.
What was your question?
Oh, okay. Sorry. It was what are we talking about? I needed the context that the neighbours wouldn't like was us congregating.
Yeah, so the context is in Barcelona, we have a garage door that opens to the street. So it's almost like we have a room that could be all of a sudden become part of the public's area, right? Of the commons. And so I really love this idea of trying to do meetups there, where it's like random people can just walk in off the street. And there's a really interesting like community meeting spot not so far away that I'm sure we could probably find a way to use. But it would be cool to kind of have our own little, Giveth Commons, But Arno is not excited about that idea, and he said that maybe that he heard a story from the neighbors before that there was a guy who wanted to do like a lot of evangelism and start like a church in our area, and that people would come in, and the neighbors didn't like that idea. And I think that goes a lot further than a meetup where we open the garage door once every 2 months, or something like that. But I think the real thing is that Arno generally is very security minded. And so the idea of having an open garage door and lots of people coming in, and there's going to be like bathroom. Oh, I need a bathroom. Okay, we'll go upstairs to own up. Like I feel like there's a little bit of paranoia there because he's a security dev, and this is like where they're all like, they're all like this, They're like, oh my god, I can find a hole in anything, man. Like, so
the attack factor. It's the toilet door.
So, yeah. So in general, we cannot. I don't think that we can count on, nor should we even try to do that this time. We should find another venue. Which finding a venue sucks, but we can do it.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool if we could just like have it go all day, and it could just be like different people giving different, conversations on whatever they wanted.
Maybe we should just go to a park and do that.
Go where?
Maybe we should just go to a park and do that. It's Barcelona, so I'm sure it's fairly sunny. Bring a whiteboard in and sit out in the forest.
That's true. We could just bring the whiteboard to the park.
Yeah.
It seems like we were put in touch with a couple of people there in Barcelona about the radical exchange thing that I can just ask in the Telegram if they have alternate venue suggestions too.
But yeah, isn't this really the reason, Griff, that you wanted to have this hacker pad to do stuff like that? So I missed part of the explanation, sorry, but is there no possibility to do it actually anyways because you're paying for the rent?
There is, of course. However, I want to respect Arno, and I want to have like heartfelt conversations in person about it. So, and there's no way. We also need to go talk to the neighbors, and so if we want to do this, it'd be nice to be able to promote it more than a week in advance and we already have so many things to do, it's just like, okay, I'm not going to push, it's like you got to pick your battles. And I have too many battles to fight. So like, it's just easier to do that in passing in conversation with Arno, and also give Arno some agency over his home. I think
I think he's being flexible about it. It might make sense in the future to grab some lockups or something, so that instead of like anyone that's there that wishes to be security minded can be, i.e. like, hey, we're doing a thing this weekend, let's chuck our laptops in the lockups, and then anybody wandering around for the toilet can hopefully only find the unvaluable toilets.
Yeah. I think yeah. Once we confirm that the neighbors aren't paranoid like Arno, and that Arno is cool with it, because Arno lives there full time, and it is like his space too. So also, it might be relevant to say on that note that Luis and Jared, Luis from Oregon, is coming to the office this week, and Jared is coming this weekend as well. And Peter, that works with open source hardware, specifically RISC-V, he's there as well. We got there's a little party happening at the Barcelona office right now with some huge players, so that's kind of cool.
Hey Danny, for the breakfast thing, you prefer to skip to stick to this and to have really someone responsible for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Well, if nobody signs up for it and wants to do it, I'm just suggesting that it's very nice to have somebody who's making sure that everything's addressed and an order's placed or something's been prepared in the morning. It's not that somebody has to actually make breakfast for everybody, but if someone wants to make breakfast for themselves and others and would take a lead for that, I think that would be a nice thing to do.
Maybe we could all take a day and take a lead that day. I'd be happy to cook people some eggs some morning.
Yeah, so I just made a super simple Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday across the top, and breakfast, lunch down the left, so that somebody can be responsible for making sure we have a plan.
Cool. Well, I'll do eggs on the Saturday late then.
That is great. I'm gonna work in that.
And the other, the thing for breakfast is that it's mostly just finding out, is anybody going to be up for breakfast? And if so, do you want something, or are you just going to make your own oatmeal?
I'm going to make eggs on the Saturday. Can I take your lunch plan on Sunday, Kai? It's just what I was saying.
I'm just spreading my name around, really.
Okay. No, I can't hop you over there. I'm going to hop you over to Thursday's takes.
Literally every time I click on a box, a name shows up in it. I'm quitting for a minute.
I would like to know if we have really big kitchenware. One pot is probably good, but
We will.
Dinner instead of VIP.
If you need something, we will get it the days before. So just tell us what you need. We do not have a giant pot. We don't have that, but we can get it.
Is the stuff? Do you think there's enough space on the stove to have a big pot?
Yes, there is.
Cool.
It's a 4-burner stove. If you put a giant pot on there, it's a butane stove. If you put a giant pot on there, you probably can't cook anything else on it.
Okay, yeah. No, I thought so. And maybe a rice cooker.
Yeah, let's just put these. Let's put this in the spreadsheet. Yeah,
I just
exactly.
started a little thing on the
Requisition.
meals one. What do we
Yeah, that's perfect.
recommend?
I like the lots of pots. Just pots.
I thought you would. Thought you would.
Maybe it was on purpose. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Must have. I'm sure it was an accident.
Do we have baking? We have an oven for our baking dish, right? Oops.
I am not 100% sure. I think so. We didn't for a long time, but I think we got an oven. I'm pretty sure we got an oven. Let me ask
Really
Laura.
boring to cook.
Oh my God.
Hey, Lorelai, do we have an oven? We do, but it's small, right? Barcelona. Yes, we have an oven.
All right.
Yeah, it's just a normal, regular, tiny European oven.
Okay.
Because I'm using American ovens that you can cook a fucking turkey in, like a giant one.
Oh, kleine Mädchen. Sie erinnern mich gerade an diese Fotos von. So.
Okay, I am fasting right now, so I'm looking to change the conversation. Let's see. There's we didn't really go deep into the radical exchange. Maybe we can just say a couple things on that. Basically, had an email exchange with Glenn, and he is excited about it, and he introduced us to 3 other people. One is like their organizer person who's starting these things up around the world, and then another one is the other 2 are local people who also have some interest in it. And then, but I don't think any of them have joined the Telegram group. I think that they're all in New York right now, so let them do their conference thing and push them to join the Telegram group a little bit later. Manny offered to do a call. I can't remember which one Manny is. I think it's the main
Morning?
organizer.
No.
What?
There's the
No,
main
no, no.
organizer.
No. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, my general feeling is like this is the radical exchange thing is a really good opportunity to bring that community into the common stack. And Glenn did a great job of incentivizing me to already want to do this because he made an introduction to Santi from Democracy Earth, who was really pushing like liquid delegation or whatever. Liquid, I can't say it. Liquid voting, liquid democracy.
Liquid pledging. Mhm.
Yeah, I know. I kept wanting to
Yeah.
say liquid pledging. I'm like, no, liquid democracy. And it's someone I've wanted to meet for a long time that I just haven't for some reason or another. So, but he's moving to Madrid and also considering starting one of these. Yeah.
Did you say he's with Democracy Earth?
Yeah, he is.
I met him at Radical Exchange. I have his sticker on my laptop I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, probably.
Nice.
I don't know how I keep missing him. He was at DevCon 4, I think, too, and he's a really good guy, and so I'd like to try to build. We had a nice little email exchange, but that's that's generally the incentive for doing this, is that we get to kind of jump into this community, as well as we probably get to shill the common stack a lot.
And you said he's in Madrid or is going to be in Madrid?
Yeah, he's Argentinian, but he's going to be in Madrid.
Okay. So I put a link to the document that I started because there are both radical exchange local meetups, and there's also radical market meetups. So there's like people who are interested in the book itself and who are interested in the intersection of the theories put forth in the book, putting them into practice through Ethereum specifically. Is what came together at that conference. So I put a couple of links to some things in there, and I guess if we're not having it at Giveth, it's still hosted by Giveth, right? It's just we don't know where yet.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. And
And
so which one is Radical Markets is the book, and Radical Exchange is the Ethereum plus the book?
exactly.
Okay. So then we're a Radical Exchange one, because I'm a little skeptical of the book myself.
Yeah,
But
the book was the starting point, and then it got challenged in a lot of different ways. And then a community of practice, Ethereum and the blockchain, started really being looked at it and engaging in it. And now it's leveled up.
this is a beautiful document.
What's
Okay.
the score with the criticisms against radical? What is it? Radical Markets, the book. I've got the book. I haven't read it yet. But what's the criticisms against? Because they're usually the most valid thing to look at.
In general, it's very academic and theoretical. There isn't a whole lot of like evidence. It's just like seems like some ideas, that you put together, and it's also not very. It feels very authoritarian sometimes, like very on the side of governments. When it's supposed to be radical markets, it seems like a little bit like, oh, well, just let some government make these decisions. There's a lot of these like, oh, we'll let this group have this power, as opposed to decentralizing power. So at least in the Ethereum space, there's a lot of like, I don't know, around that. You'll see Dean heckle the fuck out of Glenn. He's been doing it all week. He's just been like talking shit. So,
Wow, I thought that was in the past. It's back in force, huh?
yeah. Oh, he just this week I've seen him post like 3 or 4 tweets talking shit. But
I'm curious to meet that guy once, because he's always like yeah, it's like a bit negative towards people. I'm really curious to see how he is in person.
Is this
Same.
the Dean we know, or a different Dean?
That's Dean with an N.
Yeah. Dean Einerman or something like that.
I think it's Eigenmann. Yeah.
No.
Mhm.
Hey,
What were you
Griff,
gonna
so a question so would you then say that for like in Barcelona during our meetup that we don't do the radical exchange at all, or you want to do it in a different place?
Different place.
I like the park idea or the beach.
Yeah, me too. I like the park
The
area.
area at the beach, like Venice Beach.
The beach is a little crowded and noisy, so I don't know about the beach.
More for
But
the as well.
I don't know too much about the concept. Radical exchange sounds like it could be anywhere. Just make it more radical.
This would
Well,
be an
yeah,
interesting thing to explore with our Catalonia partners and some of those other things we wanted to go check out and do locally. Maybe there's somebody that wants to collaborate with us and has a spot.
I mean, I'm sure if we don't want to do the park there, we have Adria runs meetups all the time, and so it'd be really easy to find a spot with him. And there's a university professor, and it's always easy to do a meetup at a college if you have someone who's there and willing to get you the space. So
Mhm.
I don't think finding a spot will be that troublesome. it's just so nice to be like, hey guys, come right here. This is what we're
Come
gonna
to our
do. Here's
house.
the yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway,
Well, so there's still a soft possibility for that, or is it a hard no for this time, and we'll try to open those doors literally and figuratively for the future?
I would say soft possibility, but not to plan on. It's like
Yeah.
bonus change of plans, right? I think if we want to pull this off, then we need to like have a trajectory.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And before I rant on Common Stack, does anyone else have any things that we should talk about?
Yeah, maybe I just want to briefly mention that one thing because we're in a call anyways. I told Michael as well, and Danny knows as well because it's her issue, but I'm really for the moment getting into financial problems because there is this one issue that I cannot edit my milestones, and I've already tagged RJ, but he hasn't responded, and it's the milestones that I have to send to Bernd. So I don't want to complete empty milestones. I still have to put text in that is ready, but I cannot put it in there. So I have about like 1.5 month of pay, and I have to pay for my house and my food right now. So I'm getting into trouble.
Well, obviously, I can always, whenever there's a DAP issue like this, I'm always happy to float. Like
Thanks.
That's easy.
Yeah, it's good to know. It's still like I hope there's someone who can if there's one issue, I know that theme is changing, but there's like you said that the new guy has been working a bit on the DApp. Well, I hope he can please get on that one issue that milestones cannot be edited because it's been open for like 2.5 months.
Did you try today?
Did
you try today?
I did not try today. No.
Because RJ just responded to a GitHub issue that I put up on being able to edit, and I went in and successfully edited my milestone today. So perhaps it was fixed like last night.
Uh-huh. Okay, great. Then I'll check right now. Thanks so much for letting me know. I'll check.
No problem.
One suggestion, since we're in the open space, would be I know we do it to an extent, but maybe we should prepare for meetings and then like get all the issues out first and then select which ones to go through, but with intent going into the meeting rather than, hey, I'm thinking of this now, because I've often forgotten the points by the time we get in.
Which meeting are you talking about?
Just generally, it's the old programmer maxim of sequence selection, iteration, invocation. There's a reason they chose that maxim is because it's systems thinking. So if we could systematize our governance meetings, I think it would be good.
Yeah, well, for this meeting, it's usually Lumios, right? Like the Lumio is the pattern.
That's true, actually. I haven't had anything in a while.
The fireside chat. Yeah, we've only had a few. There was 1 week, not maybe a month ago, where we had like 5 or something crazy. But then it's been pretty.
It just feels to me like we are generally unfocused in these meetings, and it'd be nice to cut through some more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be down for you to lead. I mean, you're a governance what is it, cat herder or governance team. You could definitely lead the next fireside chat if you wanted.
Appreciated. I've put some suggestions into the meetings thing that I think would be nice for Barca. So maybe we'll cover some stuff there and then hopefully fall into some patterns.
Yeah, I mean, all of your research on patterns, I think, can, if we want to dive into that in a session in Barcelona, I mean, I feel like that would be the place to make a huge impact, because then we can, after these big meetings, we usually it allows us to change direction more fluidly.
Yeah, I agree. Because one of the things I noticed we do is we do stuff and then report back that we're doing stuff. That's not necessarily the way to do things, because there's a whole lot of stuff that potentially gets ignored. So when choosing, for instance, software, it's good to go and do a meta study of the whole software ecosystem. Logging replacements. I just did it recently on databasing and chose Neo4j for a reason, because it's graph-based rather than list-based, which lists they clog you up. So it's a matter of seeing all the technology and then choosing the right technology, seeing if the technology applies to our problem statement, and then running with whatever does. But that could be anything. So that's coming into a meeting, listing all the things. So it's just a pattern in particular that I'm for. Iteration, invocation, sequence selection, iteration, invocation.
Speaking of that, we have the next meeting, I think really applies to what you're saying, where that we haven't had for, I don't know, like what, 3 months, 4 months, we haven't had a roles meeting?
Yeah.
It's been wild. And I think that's probably where a lot of this do and then report back without, that's probably where some of that stems from, because we've been slacking on roles a little bit. But luckily Lorelei went out and examined the topology of the tech stack that have been available, and now she has something to do show and tell for the roles meeting. I don't know if we need to check out, because I think everyone's staying here, right? Yeah. So I think we can just move to the roles meeting, right? Does anyone object?
No objections.
Sounds good.
Maybe a brief pause to grab a cup of tea.
Oh yeah. Let's take a 2-minute break. Everyone can go pee in these things.
That's good.
2 minutes. 120 seconds.
I mean, 3 or 4 is fine. But it kind of sounded like you said 10.
Oh man. We got tactical meetings now? I'm cheating, guys. I get to see in advance. You want to share? Do you want to take over? Should I mute?
Yeah, I mean, people were on a break, but yeah, I will.
There's a break between meetings, Griff, so maybe it's time to take off your pants again like yesterday.
What?
You didn't hear it, I think.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, Chris, we were just toggling between who had the volume. What did you say?
I said it's a break between 2 meetings. Maybe it's time for Griff to take off his pants again.
Oh! Yeah, well, it's really funny because I did the same thing just now. I left open my live stream for the Common Stack call that was like almost 2 hours long before this. And so when Kai started the live stream,
it just got melded?
They just melded. So now we have one giant, like, 5-hour video.
No.
I know.
But you can easily cut it. Like you copy the video and you trim both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of work, but it works.
Well, hey guys, did you have a good fireside chat? Anything on fire from the fireside chat?
Oh, the rooms.
Do you think a giant pot would be able to fit on our stove with another thing cooking?
I mean, not that well. Like 2 giant pots, I don't think could fit. However, I think we could get one of those stand-up like barbecue, like stand-up outdoor cookers and put it on the, in Kai's room.
In Kai's room, yeah. Yeah.
We don't know what else to call it. Like these weird little, like smoking chambers. They're like a 1-person terrace. It's like a glass box that you go.
It's almost like a phone booth.
It's like a phone booth. And we just keep calling it Kai's bedroom.
Yeah.
Kai's room.
Hey.
It's great because you can smoke out in
But
that.
you're still like with the people.
Yeah,
You know, you're
it's-
in like a glass box that's with open air.
It's perfect.
Yeah, have a look. It sounds scary.
Did you? I thought you stayed at the Barcelona house.
It is a little bit like a dungeon. Yeah.
When you say glass room, is it like the smoking shelter inside the Amsterdam airport? Have you seen that? Literally a square glass box by the bar for you to go and stand in and smoke it.
It's basically like if you can imagine like a phone booth, you know, surrounded by outside open air, and then just like invert those two. Like the phone booth has open air, and then the space around it is the house that's inside. I don't know.
Yeah.
That doesn't help probably.
Really curious to see that one. Before we start, Jeff, thank you so much for telling me, because I can edit my milestones after 2 months. Thank you for whoever fixed it, probably RJ. Okay, I can't pay myself.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that. What a great thing to walk into.
Thanks.
Yeah. Celebrate it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You guys feel ready to hop into this show and tell?
Let's do it.
Cool. Yay, I have so many people. That's awesome. So this is gonna be like pretty casual, guys. This is not an official roles meeting. It's been several months since we've done the full process, and we also have a lot of new elements to this process. So I just wanted to orient you guys a little bit to the new tools that I have found and built for us, so that hopefully we can hop back on that regular schedule. So first question, did everybody in here, is there anybody who didn't get an invite